The man who survived 7 days in Area 51. Jerry Freeman. Some people cross the desert for fame, others out of madness. But what if someone ventures into Area 51? Yes, that same place shrouded in mystery, alien conspiracies, and military surveillance, driven only by a thirst for history. No cameras, no team, no intention of proving anything to anyone. Jerry Freeman did it, and he survived. For 7 days, alone, in the heart of the most secretive territory in the United States. And no, he wasn't chasing UFOs. He was pursuing archaeological traces. But what he found changed everything. Alien ships on the ground. Real, visible, there. And before you roll your eyes thinking this is just another conspiracy rant, take a deep breath. What you're about to see is unlike anything you've ever heard. Jerry didn't go on TV. He didn't sell a book screaming, "I saw it all." He left behind a journal. Some images, some evidence. Silent, almost intimate. The kind of thing someone does when they know some truths aren't made for applause. The aliens, the tech, the experience, it was all real. But for Jerry, it was never about spectacle. This story isn't just about Area 51, it's about principles. It's about facing the impossible and walking away with your integrity intact. Because sometimes the most powerful discoveries are the ones kept quiet. And now, for the first time, you're going to dive into this journey. Be ready. After this, the world will never look the same. Not everything begins with a lightning bolt. Sometimes it starts with dust and silence. Jerry Freeman didn't set out to become a legend. He wasn't after aliens or secret files from Area. What moved him was archaeology, specifically the lost paths of the lost 49ers, the pioneers who crossed the Nevada desert in the 1800s and disappeared without leaving many clues. He wanted to retrace those steps, honor those stories, and uncover what history had buried. Simple, right, but nothing stays simple for long when the ground you walk on is soaked with mystery. What most people don't know is that Jerry's plan didn't include headlines or conspiracies. It included maps, notebooks, and an old passion for storytelling through ruins. He didn't care about UFOs or about what the military might be hiding. If anything, he avoided that talk. He thought it distracted from what really mattered. He just wanted to go in, document what he found, and leave quietly. But when your destination is Area 51, even a simple mission can become something much, much bigger. He trained, he planned. He carried everything he needed to survive the desert: water, food, emergency gear. He was prepared for the heat, the cold, the solitude. What he wasn't prepared for was what he would accidentally stumble upon. Because Area 51 doesn't care about your intentions, it cares about control. And Jerry unknowingly was about to cross the line between explorer and witness. Crossing into Area 51 isn't like climbing a fence. It's not a matter of, oops, I went too far. The zone is surrounded by warning signs, sensors and surveillance that can detect movement from miles away. And yet, Jerry crossed, quietly, alone, without military clearance. He didn't break in with brute force. He used strategy, precision, and timing. He passed through terrain that most people wouldn't dare approach, hiding in the silence of the Nevada desert, step by calculated step. He didn't come in guns blazing or acting like a rebel. Jerry was careful, respectful of the land, even when he wasn't respecting the law. He followed old miner trails, used natural rock formations to stay hidden from drones, and moved mostly at night. He had one rule: leave no trace. And despite being fully aware that this was technically a crime, he felt his mission was worth it. His goal wasn't to expose secrets. It was to honor history. Ironically, it was history that led him right into the jaws of secrecy. By day 3, Jerry was already deep within restricted territory. Every sound felt amplified. Every shadow, suspicious. But he kept going. He wasn't there for aliens, but something about that air thick with silence made it clear. This place wasn't just military. It was something else. Something you could feel before you saw it. The desert hides things: bones, stories, secrets. Jerry started coming across remnants not just of pioneers, but of things that didn't quite fit the narrative. Strange metallic fragments, circular imprints on the ground, areas where the sand was scorched in precise and natural patterns. He documented everything in his journal, took photos, not out of curiosity, but to make sense of what he was seeing. And the deeper he went, the weirder it got. Then came the moment he didn't expect. He stumbled upon several alien-looking aircraft on the ground. Not flying, parked, scattered across what looked like an old, decommissioned testing field. It wasn't imagination. It wasn't hearsay. He saw them, large, cold, abandoned-looking, as if they'd been used for experiments or were waiting for something to happen. That's when it hit him. He was walking inside a real-life sci-fi set, except it wasn't fiction. It was the beating, classified heart of Area. And here's the twist. Even then, Jerry didn't panic. He didn't run. He did what explorers do. He observed. He described the shapes, the structures, the material, left markings in his journal, and kept moving. Because he wasn't there for aliens. He was there for history. He just didn't realize those two things were about to merge into one. Try to imagine what it's like to sleep alone in the middle of Area 51, knowing you're not supposed to be there. Every rustle feels like a drone. Every breeze feels like a warning. Jerry said that after the fourth night, reality started to bend. He wasn't hallucinating. He was adapting. The human mind, when isolated, starts building its own narratives. And in a place like that, those narratives feel terrifyingly real. But he endured. He used meditation techniques he'd practiced for years. He kept a strict routine to avoid losing his sense of time. And every night he'd write. His journal became his anchor. He talked to it like a companion. Some entries were filled with awe, others with fear. One night, he wrote, "It feels like I'm being watched, but nothing's moving." A simple sentence, but one that says everything. You see, aliens or not, the mind is a battlefield. Jerry's greatest challenge wasn't the government. It wasn't the desert. It was his own thoughts. And overcoming that's what separates tourists from true explorers. Somewhere around day 6, Jerry's mission changed. He didn't intend it, but it happened. He stumbled upon a site surrounded by strange antennas, almost like a forgotten experiment. Nearby, hidden under camo nets and behind rocks, were several alien-looking crafts, not models, not props. Real, metallic, foreign, not airborne. Grounded, damaged, marked, as if they'd been used for military testing. He got close as he dared. He didn't touch, just observed. Described the details. He noted how the metal seemed to absorb light, not reflect it. He wrote down shapes, estimated dimensions, even described strange grooves that didn't match any known aircraft designs. It wasn't just weird, it was undeniable. That was the moment he realized he had found something humanity wasn't supposed to see. Not a myth, not a blurred photo, but physical, grounded evidence. And the strangest part, no guards, no cameras, as if this zone had been abandoned or left there on purpose. A trap, a mistake, or something more. Jerry didn't stay to find out. He knew he had what he came for, even if it wasn't what he'd planned. Leaving was harder than entering, not because the terrain changed, but because he had changed. Jerry wasn't just walking out of Area 51. He was carrying with him secrets he hadn't asked for. He retraced his steps, hid every trace, buried some supplies, erased his tracks like a ghost. It was survival, yes, but it was also respect for the land, for the truth, for what he now knew. He avoided the main paths. He traveled light. He navigated using the stars. For 2 days, he barely stopped. His water ran low. His legs were failing. But his mind was locked in. I must get out. I must bring this back. And finally, exhausted, blistered, shaken, he made it. Out of the zone. Back to safety. And no one ever even knew he was there. That's the power of intention. Jerry didn't go to expose secrets. He went to uncover history. But Area 51 gave him more than history. It gave him forbidden knowledge, And somehow, without alerting a single radar, he brought that knowledge back to the surface. Jerry never chased the spotlight. He never stood on a stage claiming he'd seen aliens, but he left a journal. Photos, maps, all stored carefully, quietly, as if waiting for the right eyes to find them. And over time, a few of those pages leaked, not to the media, but to the curious, the seekers, those who know that the greatest truths often come wrapped in silence. His records detail things that can't be easily explained, aircraft not listed anywhere, ruins unmarked on any map, technology beyond our time, but they're there, page after page, calmly written, described like a scientist, not a dreamer. That's what makes it so powerful. There's no hype, no selling, just fact. And yet, despite what he found, Jerry never pushed it. He didn't create a movement. He didn't monetize the truth. He simply walked away, like a man who had touched fire and chose not to let it consume him. In a world where people chase clout for finding a weird-shaped rock, Jerry did the opposite. He saw things few ever will and chose silence. Not out of fear, but out of wisdom. He understood that some truths don't belong on a viral video, that some knowledge loses its power the moment it's sold. That's why he never made his Area 51 experience into a brand. Not even the aliens he saw on the ground could distract him from his mission. He never went on talk shows, never started a podcast. The most he left behind was that journal, and even that felt like a whisper. It's as if he knew the true weight of what he witnessed. Like he understood that real explorers don't shout, they document, and they disappear. And maybe that's the greatest secret he uncovered. Not the crafts, not the tech, but the understanding that some things are meant to stay hidden, and only the worthy will ever see them. So now tell me, what is Area 51 really hiding? If it's just another military base, why the extreme secrecy? Why the no-fly zones? The armed patrols? The underground structures? Why deny its existence for decades? Something's buried there, something bigger, and Jerry Freeman saw it, saw alien crafts, saw the aftermath of experiments no civilian was supposed to witness. And he lived to tell the tale barely. And if everything we've been told is just one version of the story, what if the truth is hiding in plain sight, buried under layers of lies? Think about it. Why would a government go to such extremes to hide nothing? The real question isn't just what are they hiding, it's what would happen if we found out. Now I ask you, do you really believe we're alone in the universe? Or could we already be sharing this world with visitors who never left? Drop your thoughts in the comments. What would you have done in Jerry's place? And if this story opened your eyes, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and join us, because the next revelation might be even closer than you think.